Gentlemen, welcome to our Thursday morning City Council work session. I'm Rick Cheatham, sitting in for Mayor Bladd this morning. Connie, will you please call the roll?
Craig. Cheatham.
Here.
Flurry.
Here.
Mansfield.
Here.
Ortega.
Here.
Stevens.
Here.
Blatt.
Let's move to agenda item 2 is the CDBG Advisory Committee update. Representatives from the Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee will discuss the committee's goals and projects, as well as council's policies and expectations. But I see no one from the CDBG Advisory Committee update, so we'll move on to agenda item 3. The Police Union Quarterly Update. Members of the Police Union will give an update of their union activities for the last quarter. I also see no representatives from the police union here this morning, so we'll move to agenda item 4. Idaho Transportation Department, ITD presentation. Todd Hubbard, representing Idaho Transportation Department, will be in attendance to give a presentation regarding the ITD I-86 I-15 System Interchange project. Todd's going to take just a moment to set up his computer and get things going here. Welcome, Todd.
Thank you, Council President. Sit over here. Thought I had an extra minute or two. We'll get,
There, you're coming up.
it did work before we got here, so.
Well, we've got time. We just saved like an hour. We just saved like an hour of time. So I'm good with that.
All right. So, I'm Todd Hubbard. I'm the district engineer here for the Idaho Transportation Department, District 5. District 5 covers the 7 counties of southeastern Idaho. And so obviously Bannock County and the city of Pocatello is within that. One of the major projects we have in the area right now is we're going to redo the I-86 I-15 system interchange. And we call these system interchanges where two interstates you're able to make the movement with two interstates, as opposed to the regular interchanges where you get off onto either a state highway or a local road to access other areas. And so as we've gone forward, we've finished up the design, and we've actually had this project at bid at the end of March. We're currently reviewing the bids for making sure that they're proper bids. Hopefully here in the next few weeks we'll be able to award a contract. But one of the things we've done is as we go through this system interchange redesign and reconstruction, we knew that there were some operational challenges with the current interchange and the way it was designed with the interstate area in the 1950s and 60s. Some of those challenges are what we call those left exits. So as you're coming from Pocatello Creek and you're headed to Chubbuck, that 15 to 86 movement, you make that left exit. One of the things as we were designing interchanges, we really like to exit on the right. That's a driver expectation that we like to have. As well as you're coming from 86 and going north on 15, that's another left entry movement that is difficult. And so as the bridges in this area were aging and ready to be replaced, we decided that let's take the opportunity to correct some of those driver expectations. And so another thing that we're going to do to benefit everybody is we're going to take Chubbuck Road that currently goes over the interstate and put Chubbuck Road under the interstate. And so that's going to be a major part of this project. It's going to impact as well. One of the things we did as we know this is going to change the way people drive this interchange, we produced a video, and I'd like to start with this 3-minute video. It'll show you what's going to take place on this project.
Upgrades are coming to the I-86 I-15 system interchange in Pocatello and Chubbuck. This project will improve operations, safety, and mobility between I-86 and I-15. Roadway geometrics and structures will be upgraded to current standards. Aging and obsolete bridges originally constructed in the 1960s will be replaced.
The left-hand exit and entrance on I-15 will be eliminated. This three-leg system-to-system interchange will provide travelers local access to the west via I-86 at the Route 91 Chubbuck interchange, local access to the south along I-15 at Pocatello Creek Road, and the recently constructed Northgate interchange to the north along I-15. Construction will occur in several stages over multiple seasons. The Idaho Transportation Department is focused on keeping traffic moving through the project during construction. An extended detour for the reconstruction of Chubbuck Road is planned via New Day Parkway and Northgate Parkway just north of the project. This detour will allow for I-15 to be constructed over Chubbuck Road, allowing for improved vehicular, pedestrian, and bicycle mobility. ITD would like to show you how this improved interchange will differ from the existing interchange so that you are familiar with it when it opens. To reach I-86, northbound drivers from I-15 will exit right to merge with Pocatello Creek Road traffic on a new collector-distributor ramp, eliminating the existing I-15 merge and left exit. The ramp turns left, passing under I-15 to merge with I-86. Pocatello Creek drivers may choose to exit right to continue northbound on I-15. This moves the entrance point further north, allowing for smoother entry and merging onto I-15. Traveling from eastbound I-86 to northbound I-15, drivers will stay in the left lanes to pass under I-15 and then merge with I-15 on the right. Chubbuck Road will be reconstructed as an underpass of I-15. The existing Chubbuck Road bridges will be replaced. During construction of these new bridges, traffic will detour via New Day Parkway and Northgate Parkway. This update will also benefit bike and pedestrian access, as both will be improved on Chubbuck Road. The new system interchange layout will operate more efficiently, will be more comfortable to drive, and will allow for the future expansion of I-15. Be sure to drive carefully and follow directional signs during construction and when first navigating the new interchange. The Idaho Transportation Department thanks you for your interest and for taking the time to learn about this project. To learn more, visit the project page shown here.
So that's how the system interchange will function after we get it built. As we look at what is the timing of this project, obviously, as I mentioned, we have this project bid. The start date of the contract would be July 11th if we award this contract after the review of the bids. The first thing that's going to have to take place is, in order for the new structures to be built, is the ramp that currently goes from I-15 northbound to I-86. We need to lower that grade about 8 feet, and that right now is about 22 feet wide. So we don't have a place to put traffic, and so that we'll close that ramp for 2 to 4 weeks, detour traffic up to Northgate interchange. So they'll exit right there, go across the interchange, and come back south, and then take the free right back. So that'll be the first detour that takes place, and we anticipate that to be 2 to 4 weeks. After that, we know that there's a significant amount of traffic that passes through this interchange. We have set up the plans that, for the most part, two lanes of traffic each direction will be maintained during construction. The way we're going to do that is currently the new northbound lane is going to be built between the south and northbound lanes right now. So we'll build that new northbound lane, and then we'll flip the southbound traffic to the new northbound lane, redo the southbound lane, and then move both lanes back over to the new configurations. And so that's how we plan on keeping 2 lanes of traffic open during the duration of the contract. And so we know that we're going to impact traffic. This is going to be a multi-season project, and we're going to right now there's 5 bridges within that complex. We're going to, in order to make the right entrances and right exits, we have to add 3 more bridges. And so we're going to take out 5 bridges and put back 8, which is a significant amount of work. The apparent low bidder was $111 million to redo all this work. So significant amount of cost, but also something that's going to benefit the community for the next 100 years as we design those bridges. One thing that in our design, we did accommodate the bridges width-wise to be able to handle a third lane. We've talked about a third lane need going from Pocatello to Idaho Falls, and so our planning efforts we're making sure that this configuration will be able to handle that third lane in the future. There won't be a third lane built within this project currently. That'll be a future project, but it is designed to be forward compatible to add that third lane in the future. So with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Council, Linda?
I'm just curious, when you now are going north on I-15 from Pocatello Creek, it looks like, it said it's going to be a longer entrance and put it further north, so it takes it out of that little congested area where you have to get immediately over, and merge into traffic. But how close does that put it to the Northgate interchange? Are those going to be like really close to each other now?
No, they won't be. They'll be closer, obviously. But one of the things as we go through our design process is we look at what that merge and weave distance is. We know that currently there's what we call weave problem, is people are trying to get left or right quickly. There's not enough room there. And so those meet the design standards as we go north up to Northgate. Obviously, that point will take place, that merge point will take place almost where Chubbuck Road is right now.
Okay.
So as you look at that and the distance between Chubbuck Road and the off-ramps at Northgate, that's where that merge is approximately going to take place. So there's much more room to get between Chubbuck Road and the off-ramps at Northgate. So
It'll be nice. My issue, I'm sure it's most people's issue when you're getting on to I-15 at Pocatello Creek and trying to immediately merge to get on 86 to get to Chubbuck, that distance. And, if it's a busy traffic time, getting over there is quite dicey. So that part will be much improved. Thanks.
That was my question
else?
too.
I've got one.
Josh?
I know you said it's a multi-season project. Do you have an estimated completion date?
estimated completion date, late spring, early summer of, I think here, we advanced this project, so I gotta make sure I get the right year. We're gonna build 24, I think. Because it was a 23, we moved it to 22. Yeah, so.
24. Okay, so a 2-year project
2
is what you
years,
estimate. Okay.
yes. Is that right?
The stages that this is going to happen in, Todd, do you anticipate all of the roads being closed simultaneously?
All of the roads.
All of the, like Chubbuck Road and the changes at Pocatello Creek, and how interrupted can people expect traffic to be?
So Chubbuck, the challenge is we changed the grade between Chubbuck Road and the interstate. So after we close and then open the north to westbound ramp, after that, then we close Chubbuck Road and demolition the bridges and take out that fill. As we go through the phasing, the last phase is to tie back in Chubbuck Road. So Chubbuck Road is going to be the one that is impacted the longest. And so it's pretty much going to be impacted the duration of the project. And we've worked with the residents up there. We'll still allow access into the subdivision there. I think that's Heartland subdivision. But we do know that they're going to be, that direct access from Chubbuck Road across the interstate to the wellness complex is going to be impacted. And the recently opened Northgate Interchange allows us to do this. If we didn't have Northgate Interchange, this would be a significant issue that we'd have to be dealing with. And it's still significant, but it does have us a way to get around the ability to close Chubbuck Road for this long. And then, if you're aware, and Chubbuck Road, there's lots of pedestrians and kids that are hiking over to get to the wellness complex, and those are narrow bridges across the top and a lot of traffic. And I've seen kids in their fishing poles walking across that bridge in traffic, and there's just not a lot of space for them. The new Chubbuck Road will allow for much more pedestrian access across there and be much safer for the community.
Yeah, I do.
ahead,
I
Claudia.
I came up with a new question. So with regard to notifying people, the community of when things are going to happen, is that something that ITD will be doing?
Yes.
Or is that something that we as the city have to do? I mean, I'm just, how much of a heads up are people going to get so that they can, leave more time to
Yeah, so
get where they need to get?
So that's something that we're going to do. We have a project website out there. We've got a public information officer here in our office that's going to be leading that effort. Once we get the contractor on board, we'll know what their schedule is much better, and then be able to know, hey, these are the approximate times that, as we've designed it, we figured, hey, this is what's going to take place. We don't know exactly how fast or their phases are going to go. So once we get the contractor on board, we'll start that. This is the timeline we're going to close this. This is the timeline this is going to be open. These are the impacts we're going to have as we go through all 6 or 7 phases of this project.
Okay.
But we'll be doing that outreach.
Okay.
And reaching out to the news stations and the Journal and other things to make sure that we keep the public aware of what's happening.
Great, thank you.
I have an ITD question, but it's not about this project. Is that acceptable?
It's not on the agenda. This project is what's on the agenda.
Would you be willing to chat with me
Yes.
in the lobby as you leave?
Yes.
Thank you.
We recently had a change order come through on a project we have on a water project. It was $135,000. It was unanticipated because of material unavailability. Is there potentially that issue here, Todd?
Potentially, yes. One of the things that is out there, 4 of these bridges are steel bridges. The other 4 are concrete girders. As we've watched the market, the steel market is very volatile at this point in time. One of the other things that the rebar that are in all these bridges is steel. And so one of the things we've put in our contract provision is to help alleviate that and understand the lead time on these is typically we would pay for materials as they're available to be incorporated in the project. And we know that with the volatility in the market that in order to help the contractor and help us, we put a provision in the contract to say that we'll pay invoice cost of those products as soon as they purchase them. So that then they can, it's a fairness thing so that they can make those purchases. As soon as that contract's awarded, they can start working with those steel suppliers to ensure that we have those products when we need them. So they can buy them, we'll pay for it and store those at an approved location so that we can try to benefit from the lead time of what is needed on those products. It's something that is across the industry. A couple years ago, we dealt with a shortage of epoxy. Main ingredient in epoxy is produced in Texas. And when that winter storm went through Texas, it froze a lot of that epoxy. So all that product had to be wasted. And so we had an extreme shortage of epoxy across the nation. And so you never know what you're going to see. And one thing about it is we've done enough of this work. We see a lot of it. We've seen it in traffic line paint a few years ago when a traffic line paint supplier burned up. We're able to work through those shortages. One is by the sheer quantity of work that we do. They know that we produce we need a lot of that material, so they work with us to get us those. But we also understand that there might be some of those shortages, and which then could, that's the other thing, could lead to a little extra time in the contract is we might be able to get some of that. So those are the things that we're working towards and try to accommodate to make sure that we can keep our project on schedule.
Linda, go ahead.
One last question, sorry. And you probably said this and I missed it, but so we talked about the estimated completion date. When are we starting?
Right now, to start out after July 11th.
Okay.
We know that the first stage is obviously, like I mentioned, to drop the grade of that ramp. We don't want that to take place over the 4th of July. And so we push that back to July 11th to make that take place. And so we'll see what, and the other thing is the shortly after that, then the steel bridges need to be put in place. And so as you talk about, that's gonna take 2 to 4 weeks, that's a month. Then they move over and start demoing the Chubbuck Road bridges and the fill there, get that bridge abutment and foundation in place. Then the steel girders need to be set. So as you back out what's critical path, that's about the approximate good start date. So then they can get those steel girders ordered and started fabricating, get the graded, all adjusted foundations in, and then set those girders so that we can keep rolling through the project.
Council President.
Josh.
I think Jeff Mansfield.
Can I get a couple questions real quick?
Certainly, Mr. Mansfield.
So Todd, a couple questions for you. First of all, was there gonna be any architectural elements included in these bridges, like the Northgate Bridge or the diverging diamond?
Architectural elements, it's probably going to be very similar to Northgate with some of those MSE walls that are there. Not necessarily the steel figures and artwork that's on Chubbuck, but MSE walls, those preformed cast panels, look very similar to Northgate.
Then my second question, can you let the council kind of know who the contractors are that'll be working on this project yet, or?
So Apparent Low is a joint venture between Sunt Construction in out of Salt Lake and Cannon Builders out of Blackfoot. That's the Apparent Low. We're still reviewing those. Like I mentioned, we're still reviewing those bids. With the contract as large as this is, our contracting services office takes a fair amount of time to make sure that those bids are appropriate and regular. So
What was that name?
Sunt and Cannon joint venture.
Sunt and Cannon.
Yes, so
Thank
it's
you.
SUNDT, Sunt.
Oh, like a,
Where was the parent low bid relative to the estimated budget of the project?
So estimated budget was about 103 million, and apparent low was 111. We had a 6-week advertisement on this. So that means we went out for advertisement middle of February. As you are aware, things happened after the middle of February across the world, and has affected a little bit of the pricing that we watched, and we kept getting a little more and more nervous. But about 110% of engineers' estimate
Thank you.
is. But as we looked at that, the main escalation was in concrete and steel, and so that was as we looked at the bids, not something that we're concerned about, as we were aware of what the current environment was leading us to.
I'm sorry, you said that when you were talking about the contractor, one was from Salt Lake and the second one I missed?
Is Cannon Builders from Blackfoot.
Blackfoot, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice that it's local.
Yeah. I heard once, Todd, I thought that there was going to be some involvement of the Greenway in this project too, an interconnectivity piece from Pocatello Creek. Could you talk about that?
Yes. So one of the things that we've done is worked with the Greenway Foundation. One of the challenges is the connectivity up to the wellness complex. And so one of the things that we've done is we're working on building the base of a path from Pocatello Creek up to the church. And so that'll take place on this project as well. Within our right of way, we'll build that path up to the church's right of way.
That's Grace Lutheran, right?
Which
Yes.
church? Okay,
Yeah,
Grace.
up there. And so so there will be. The Greenway Foundation is working on the rest of that connectivity. Dan Harrelson and his group. Obviously, Dan Harrelson used to work for ITD and recently retired. Yes, we've been working with, and so that's another great benefit of this project is to work that connectivity of the trail system across the community and particularly up to the wellness complexes. And so Dan's group is working on the fundraising now to pave and then finish that trail out. And so one of the challenges we had was once we got up there, we didn't have the right of way to finish building that out. So Working with the Greenway Foundation, they said that, get us to here and we'll take it from there. So a great partnership that we have there. And I talked to Dan recently, and they're ramping that up, so.
When you talk about a completion date, does that include re-landscaping the disturbed soil?
Yes, one of the things that we'll do is we'll come back in, as we change lanes back and forth, we'll have to restripe that. And so the last thing that we'll do is come back in and seal coat all the new pavement and restripe it so we don't have some of those shadow lines existing, and then seed the disturbed area back to that native vegetation type that we see out there.
Council, any other questions?
Yeah,
Thank you,
pretty
Todd.
exciting.
Good
Thank you.
presentation. I hope we can get the word out to the people so they understand what's going to happen the next 2 years.
Yeah. it's
Yeah,
gonna
and
be-
that's my other effort. Talked to the chamber a couple weeks ago. That's where Rick first heard this presentation. I'm reaching out to Rotaries and others. So if you know of other civic organizations or other organizations that want to hear from us, let me know. We'll gladly share our information
Yeah.
as we have.
Yeah, this is going to be really
Got
nice.
a regular road show.
It's going to be really nice.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you.
And the next item on our agenda is we're adjourned.
Yay.
Thank you, council, for showing up this morning.
All right.